Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out I Don't Work Here Lady. Story 1. Karen can't handle that IT property management can't really help with sales. So technically I do work there. But I work in IT support for the company on question, not customer facing at all. So yes, I'll be polite and possibly point you in the right direction. That being said, it's a multi-building campus and I don't always know where particular items will be sold, or at least find you a customer service person. But this lady, damn, literally couldn't handle the fact that I was elbow deep in a printer and PC that some little bastard kid, Karen Light, had spilled some sort of thick liquid on, and I was trying to salvage the machines and didn't have time to help her find some specific brand of what the F ever it was she wanted. I guess, even after my polite "Sorry ma'am, I work in IT, let me drop effing everything I'm doing, find you someone that can assist you," it had to be me. Now. Like right now. And I was, as she put it, a worthless RDED moron, and she will have me fired like that. Snaps her fingers at me, so show me where X is now. To which I just kinda stood there and stared at her, watching her turn as red as a rotten tomato. There's a reason I left retail/management. Luckily, her squealing like a stuck pig got the attention of the floor manager, who was able to explain. "Ma'am, he doesn't work sales or with customers, he's property management, technically what we fall under, but if you come up to counter that says customer service, we can call a salesperson to help you directly." Karen and her husband waddled away, with her shooting me another glance I'm sure she meant to be menacing but really just made her look constipated. I thanked the manager and got back to my actual job, which thankfully I was able to Frankenstein the printer and PC for now, and it lives. Story 2. 4 years later and I still remember. I was working night shift as a security guard. We had bright yellow shirts that said security across the back and company name on the front. I hadn't felt well, so I ran into Walmart after my shift at like 8 AM to get cold meds. Let it be known there has never been and still isn't security at this Walmart, and truthfully I don't know a Walmart that does. As I'm looking at cold meds, a guy in his 50s stops me and asks me if I know where the mothballs were. I said, "Oh, I have no idea, I'm sorry," and kinda laughed and turned back to the cold meds. He huffed really loudly, so I looked back up at him and he rolled his eyes and said, "You work here, don't you? You should know, or look for me until you do know, and shit you not." My mouth dropped and I told him I didn't in fact work there, I was just on my way home and sick. No apology or anything, he just walks off. I truly hope he never found the mothballs that are over where the laundry baskets are. Story 3. But I wanted that big bottle of olive oil. This happened a few years ago, but I am reminded of it every time I buy olive oil. I live a few blocks from a grocery store, so I will text my family before I leave from work and ask if anyone needs me to pick something up. Wife, son, and daughter send me their answers, which included that we were out of olive oil. The list is small, so I just grab a basket as I enter the store. After getting everything else on my short list, I go looking for the olive oil. This is where things got weird. On the very top shelf, the store is offering a large bottle at a ridiculously low price, so I reach up and grab one. I am a little over 6 feet tall with long arms, and it was a bit of a stretch for me. After placing the bottle in my basket, I hear from behind me in a very soft and polite voice, "Excuse me, young man." Now I was just shy of 50 at the time, and it had been a long time since anyone had called me a young man, so at first I thought the person was talking to someone else. As I turned around, I see someone's tiny grandma, or great-grandma, looking up at me and smiling. She was a tiny little thing not quite 5 feet tall. She then said, "I saw that you were able to reach that bottle, and I was wondering if you could see if there are any more left." I told her that there was one more left, and asked if she'd like me to get it down for her. She said yes, please. So I grabbed the last bottle and handed it to her. She said that she had seen what a wonderful deal it was, but there was no way she could have reached it, and then proceeded to thank me profusely. I said it was my pleasure and thought what a nice little interaction at the end of my day. Then things got weird. As polite grandma lady walks away, from behind me I hear someone say tersely, "Get me one of those bottles." I spin around and a woman is staring at me, so I say, "Excuse me." She continued, "One of those large bottles of olive oil, get one down for me." I told her there weren't any more and then she tried to take the bottle from my basket. I jerked the basket away and said, "WTH do you think you're doing?" She told me that I should give her mine since I could just go in the back and look for more. Now, I am dressed in khakis and a button-down dress shirt, typical middle-aged man business casual, nothing like the employees at the store, so I am confused. Just as I am about to say something she really won't like, one of the managers comes out of the back and heads towards the front of the store through this aisle. He and I know each other in passing since I am in the store a lot, usually exchanging a head nod, a smile, and a "how's your day?" She immediately latched onto him and said, "Your employee swore at me and refused to give me the last big bottle of olive oil." He looked at me, looked at my basket, and then looked back at me with a questioning look on his face. I just shook my head and shrugged my shoulders. He politely told her I wasn't an employee. She said, "But he got a bottle down for someone else." He looked at me, I nodded, and he said, "Well, that was awfully nice of him." She immediately came back with, "Well, make him give me his bottle." He looked at me just as confused as I felt, and at this point I was just happy to not be alone in this Twilight Zone moment. He told me that he'd take care of this and that I was free to go, which did not go over well with her, but hey, I was free. Sometimes I can still hear her be at $% white tone as I walked away, but I wanted that big bottle of olive oil. A couple of things came out of this. I always smile when I think of polite grandma lady, and if the manager ever sees me in the store with olive oil in my basket/cart, he throws his hands up in an exaggerated manner and nopes out very quickly. Story 4. Where are the diapers? How should I know? This happened about 10 years ago. Usually, I avoided the Target in my old neighborhood. But one Friday night, I walk into the store near me after my 9 to 5 doing IT support. I'd had enough for 1 week of dealing with end users. I just wanted to grab a frozen Supreme pizza and a 6-pack of cheap beer for dinner. Call it a day. As luck would have it, as I was about to head to the front of the store to check out, this woman, who I'm guessing is in her early 30s, suddenly puts her hand out, and says, "Excuse me." Confused, I stop in my tracks. It had been a long day, but I tried to be polite. Kind of on autopilot, I said, "Can I help you with something?" She says, "Can you tell me where I can find diapers?" I don't have kids, so I say, "No, sorry." I make to go by her, and on my way, and she steps in front of me again. Well, why not? Rude. Okay. Because I don't work here. Yes, you do. Find me someone who does know. Demanding. What the hell, I think to myself. Then the penny drops. I'd dressed in a hurry that morning. I was wearing a red polo shirt and khaki pants. Yeah, no, sorry. You're mistaken. I don't work here. Have you been drinking on the job? Points at the cans in my hand. Get me your manager. Louder now. Lady, I don't work here. Get them yourself, I said firmly. I elbowed my way past her, and made my way rapidly to the lanes, to get out of this stupid situation. Hey! She follows me at a distance at first, then I lose sight of her as I turn a corner. I get in line and wait for my turn. About 10 minutes have passed in total. By this time, she's found a manager at the customer service counter. Drags him over. Thankfully, he takes one look at me, and knows I am not one of his employees. He apologizes to me first. She's all huffy, and doesn't say anything more to me. He then kindly steered her away and helped her himself. I got the hell out of there immediately afterwards. Never went back. The red polo and khakis were taken to a clothing donation drop box after my laundry was done the following day. I haven't worn that color combination since. Story 5. Oh. You all have inspired me to relate a story from way back when I was a much younger man. Setting, the mid-1990s, mid-sized city on the east coast of the US. I was a college student who normally wore the traditional late teen/early 20s male uniform of worn jeans, band t-shirt covered by plaid flannel, and Chuck Taylor all-star high tops of varying colors. I was enjoying my sophomore year at my small college when I was tasked with an oral report in my current literature class. I knew the material, spoke often in class, and engaged well with the teacher and my classmates. Things were good. I decided that for the presentation, I would actually put an effort into my appearance. I shaved that morning, put on the few dress clothes that I had brought from home, and even wore a tie. I thought that I cleaned up pretty well. The presentation was well received, and I felt good about how everything went, so after class I decided to walk myself across the street to partake of a rented movie from the local Blockbuster video rental store. Asterisk for those too young to remember, once upon a time you had to physically go to a store and choose a movie to watch, rent a VHS or DVD copy, and return it to the store when you were done. Asterisk it was actually a really fun experience, and was even more fun when they started to rent video games as well. Asterisk it also made you choose something you may not have chosen otherwise when your first choice was out. Asterisk for further information on this topic, I recommend the film Be Kind, Rewind, starring Mos Def, Yassine Bey, Jack Black, and Danny Glover. As I perused the store, I noticed that a couple of boxes were out of place, so I put them back in order as I decided what to watch that evening. An older woman turned to me and asked, "Excuse me young man, but I am taking care of my grandkids tonight and was wondering if this movie was appropriate." "Oh, Goonies. That is a classic. There are a couple of scary parts for the younger kids, but it is nothing worse than what they would see in a cartoon. They should really like it." She thanked me and was on her way. Another woman asked where the romantic comedies were, so I directed her to them. A man asked me my opinion of John Carpenter's The Thing. Wow, I thought to myself. My professional appearance must exude cinematic knowledge and expertise. People can't stop themselves from asking my opinion on film. Maybe I should put more of an effort into dressing well. As I approached the counter with my selection, I was brought out of my contemplation by the sight of the Blockbuster assistant manager behind the register. He was wearing a blue button-down shirt, tan trousers, a brown leather belt and loafers, and a tie. I was wearing a blue button-down shirt, tan trousers, a brown leather belt and loafers, and a tie. The realization hit me. Oh. TLDR, I thought that my professional appearance and vast knowledge of movies was attracting people to me for advice, when it turned out that I was just the moron who tried to impress his American romanticism class by dressing like a Blockbuster employee. As I have been on Reddit for a couple of months, I know that it is important to inform all of you that I am currently in therapy for this traumatic event and have been NC with Blockbuster for nearly 20 years. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.